You survived. You made it through the non-stop chaos, the mind games, and the feeling that you were losing your grip on reality. The relationship with the narcissistic woman is over. Yes, but the silence that comes after can be just as deafening as the drama. You're left standing in the wreckage wondering, how did I get here? And more importantly, where do I possibly go from here? You might feel like you're seeing the world through a cracked lens, that basically your judgment is fundamentally broken. And starting over feels really impossible because the last time you trusted somebody, they nearly destroyed you. So if any of this sounds familiar, you're in the right place. This is more than just surviving a toxic relationship. This is about how to learn to live again, and also how to date again, and also how to build something real and healthy without making the same devastating mistakes again. Okay, so let's be honest. The hardest part isn't the getting over her, all right? It's getting over what she did to your sense of reality. You were conditioned to accept unacceptable behavior, to see love as some kind of transaction, and to constantly doubt your sanity. The psychological damage from a narcissistic relationship can linger long after it ends, making any new connection feel really terrifying. But what if that experience, as brutal as it was, could become your greatest strength in building the future that you actually deserve? What if the scars that you actually carry are a roadmap that can lead you to a healthy, fulfilling partnership? Stick with me, okay? Because what I'm going to be doing is walking you through the essential steps to make that happen. So my friends, I really hope that you're doing really well. So this video really is specifically for you guys. I know that this can be really terrifying and really challenging because being a woman myself, you're going to have this perception that all women are really bad. But like I said, let's use this experience as a roadmap to what actually you can rebuild within yourself. Okay. Part 1, the lingering effects. Before we can even talk about what your next relationship is going to look like, we have to get real about the baggage you're carrying. This isn't your fault, but it is your reality right now. A relationship with a narcissist erodes your very sense of self. It's a slow, creeping burn of emotional abuse, marked by control, by blame and humiliation, that chips away at your self-esteem until you feel utterly worthless. One of the most common after effects is a deep-seated issue with trust. And it's not about trusting another partner, it's about trusting yourself. Your judgment feels shot. After all, you feel like you chose her. The thing is, narcissistic gaslighting is a masterclass in making you question your own mind. And that feeling doesn't just disappear when she does. You might find yourself second guessing every single decision, feeling the instinct you have isn't quite correct. And what happens here is this leads to a living in a state of hypervigilance. So basically, you're constantly on edge. You're scanning for threats and red flags, which is like absolutely exhausting. And this fear can make intimacy feel really impossible with another person. You might build walls, around yourself because vulnerability was used as a weapon against you. You could also be dealing with symptoms of real trauma like anxiety, depression, and just that constant sense of dread. And on top of all of that, your idea of a normal relationship is probably really skewed. After getting used to constant drama, a stable, calm, and respectful partnership can feel, well, actually quite boring. Your system got hooked on the intense highs of love bombing and the soul crushing lows of the devaluation. And what happens is that this destructive cycle can be addictive, and its pattern many men unconsciously look for again simply because it feels familiar. So recognizing these lingering effects isn't about dwelling on the past. It's more about understanding the battlefield in your own head so you can finally win the war and move on. So in this section, I really want to talk about the essential guide to healthy dating. All right. Okay, let's get practical here. You've looked the damage in the eye. Okay. It isn't a sprint. And let's be careful, deliberate, and in the process of healing. Okay, careful and deliberate in the process of healing. And what I'll do is I'll break it down into 4 essential steps. Step 1, the healing. What you must do before you first date, before you even think about downloading a dating app, you need to turn your focus inward. The first non-negotiable step is to make your own healing and well-being the top priority. This starts with a period of no contact, or at least extremely limited and structured contact if you share responsibilities like kids or you've got assets together. You have to give your mind the space to detox from that toxic dynamic. Next, actively get back into self-care. I'm not talking about bubble baths. I'm talking about reconnecting with you. Okay, get back into the hobbies, friendships, and interests you were isolated from. Exercise, my friends, exercise. Spend time outdoors. Listen to music. These things help regulate your nervous system and rebuild the identity outside of that relationship. And crucially, think about, my friends, think about professional support. Finding a therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse can be one of the most powerful things that you actually do. They offer a safe space to process your trauma, validate your experiences, and give you the tools to rebuild your self-worth. A lot of men, try to tough it out alone, thinking no one will get it. But this is a wound that often needs a guide to heal properly. Forgive yourself. Okay, you were manipulated, and this is not you. Forgive yourself. You were manipulated, and that's not on you. This healing phase is about finding your feet, remembering who you are, and becoming whole on your own again. You're not ready to date until the thought of your former partner and her toxic traits is completely unattractive to you. Yes, my friends. Yes. Step 2, you need to start recognizing red flags and how to spot narcissistic traits really early on. I mean, this is a given. This is like a huge one. So your past experience has given you a superpower if you learn how to use it correctly. Don't see it as a negative. It's actually a superpower. The ability to spot red flags a mile away. Okay, that's the superpower. You've seen the playbook, so now you can recognize the behavior. Narcissistic people often follow really predictive patterns. So if you've seen it in one, you've seen it in a few of them, especially at the start of a relationship. The first giant red flag is love bombing, being that person that you've always wanted to have. Okay, and this female is going to know what your triggers are. They're going to figure them right out. So that's why they can love bomb you into this relationship. It feels like a dream. They're obsessed. They see you, telling you're their soulmate within weeks and showering you with praise and affection. It feels incredible. Of course it does. It feels incredible. But it's a manipulation tactic designed to get you hooked fast. Okay, healthy relationships build over time. They don't just explode into your life with that kind of intensity overnight. Like, it doesn't happen like that. And if it does, that's a huge red flag. Watch out for the lack of empathy as well. Do they seem to glaze over when you talk about your feelings? Do they brush off your concerns or somehow kind of like make everything about them? That's a core trait of narcissism and borderline as well. Also listen to how they talk about their exes. If every single one of their exes was crazy and they were always the victim, that's another red flag that you need to look out for. It shows a total inability to take personal responsibility over their own behavior. And believe me, they're going to be doing the same to you. So other signs to watch out for include a clear sense of entitlement, there's arrogance, and being hot and cold without warning. They might also, they're going to push your boundaries early on, maybe by asking overtly personal questions, or being too pushy, or pushing intimacy onto you too early on. And here I would say, trust your gut. If something feels off, it is. Don't make excuses for them. You've already been down that road. You've already made those excuses. Don't do it again. See that person for who they are. Step 3. Okay, this is about building healthy foundations, communication and boundary setting in a new relationship. So this is for you once you have started dating again. The rules of the game have to change completely here. The old ones no longer apply. The 2 pillars of any healthy relationship are communication and boundaries. And these are skills that you have to learn to master. Boundaries are your new best friend. Narcissists thrive on crushing your boundaries. Okay, they just have no respect. So you may need to learn how to set and enforce them if you need to. A boundary, do you know what? It's not even that hard, because a boundary is just a clear line you draw about what is and isn't okay with you, okay? Because this is about self-respect. And it can be as simple as, I'm not free to talk after 10 p.m, or as firm as, I'm not comfortable when you make jokes like that. All you've got to do here is say it calmly and clearly, and the key is to watch out how the other person reacts. A healthy person will respect your boundary and probably even apologize. If they don't fully get it, a toxic person or a narcissist will push back, question it, or just ignore it. And this is a critical test. You've got to remember that healthy communication is open and honest without the fear of being judged. In your last relationship, you probably learned how to walk on eggshells. Now, you need to practice saying what you need and how you feel directly. So use I statements like, I feel hurt when, like when you cancel plans last minute, instead of accusatory statements like you, or you made me do this, or you did this. See if your new partner actually listens and validates what you're feeling and is willing to meet you halfway. This is what mutual respect looks like. It's going to feel strange at first, but this is the foundation of a real partnership. And step 4 is about trusting yourself again. How to rebuild your intuition. And this is really, really important. This might be the most hardest and the most important step of all. The abuse you went through was designed to make you doubt yourself. So rebuilding that self-trust is a journey that takes patience and self-compassion. Start by understanding that trust is like a bank account. It's built with small, consistent deposits over time. And in a new relationship, you have to let trust build slowly. Don't rush into things or make promises right away. Watch for consistency. This is a huge one. Between their words and their actions. Do they follow through? Are they reliable? This is how you build a case for trust. And more importantly, you have to rebuild your own trust in your own gut feelings. Your intuition is a powerful tool, but after being gaslit for so long, you start to ignore it. Start practicing with low stakes situations. Pay attention to that little voice in your head, that feeling in your stomach. Start honoring it. And when you look back on your last relationship, you'll probably remember countless moments when your gut was screaming that something was wrong. Your goal now is to listen to that voice when it whispers, so you don't have to wait until it screams, until it's like, hey, really listen to me. Forgive yourself for not listening before and make a promise to listen now. Every time you trust your gut and it turns out to be right, you're making a deposit into your own self-trust account. So my friends, this journey isn't easy, I know that, but you're not walking in it alone. If this is hitting home for you and you want to keep rebuilding your life and learn how to forge solid, healthy relationships, hit that subscribe button, and I want to hear from you in the comments, okay? Share one thing that you're doing to reclaim your life after your experience, your stories, okay, and your experiences has the power to help another guy who is right where you used to be. Leaving a relationship with a female narcissist feels like climbing out of a bunker after a storm. It literally does. The world looks different and you are different, but you are not broken. You're a survivor, and everything you've been through has armed you with a profound, hard-won wisdom. Healing isn't a straight line. There will be good days and there will be bad days, but you need to be patient with yourself. The goal isn't to become some bitter, walled off guy who's afraid to love. That's not what we're saying here. The goal is to become a man who is so secure in his own worth, so clear on his boundaries, and so in tune with his own intuition that he is incapable of attracting or tolerating other toxic partners. A healthy, deeply fulfilling and safe relationship isn't a fantasy. It's absolutely possible for you. And your past doesn't have to define your future, but it can inform it. So celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and know that you're on the right path to not just recovery, but to a better life and a better love that you ever thought was possible. You got this, okay? You got this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.